Been missing your periods for a very long time. If you have not seen your periods for a while, maybe you've not seen your periods for 3 months, you've not seen your periods for 6 months, and you are asking yourself, why is it that you as a woman, you are not seeing your periods? This is what we call amenorrhea. If you are also experiencing dryness in your private parts, and then you are asking yourself what is causing the dryness. If you are experiencing low libido, you do not feel like being with your partner, low sexual libido, and you are asking yourself, everything seems to be normal, but you suddenly developed a loss in feelings to be with your partner, low libido. It could actually also point to something. It could point to some changes that are taking place in your body. All of a sudden, if you are already an adult, and then the secondary sexual characteristics, for example, breast development, your breasts have failed to develop. Your breasts are very small, and actually you are asking yourself, why is it that others, their breasts are actually very normal and they are actually even visible, but in your particular scenario, your breasts are not visible? You are asking yourself, why is this so? In this video, I'm going to answer this question. If you are having a dry, thin skin, your skin is always dry. You apply lotion, but your skin is always dry. It is thin. You're asking yourself, why is it that your skin is always thin? In this video, I'm going to answer this question. So, in summary, if you are having a dry, thin skin, you are experiencing low libido, you do not feel like being with your partner, your breasts have taken long to develop, your breasts are very small compared to your age, and then also your periods have disappeared for a while. Maybe it's even coming to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but you are not seeing your periods. In this video, I'm going to talk about all this. Now, what I have just talked about is actually what is known as hypogonadism. Hypogonadism is a situation when there's a dysfunction, when this particular part in the brain known as the hypothalamus. I've talked about the hypothalamus in my previous videos, but I will reiterate again. I will talk more about the hypothalamus. Now, in the brain of a woman, there's a small part. This part is known as the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, also known as the master gland, plays many functions in a person's system. In this particular case, I will stick to fertility. The hypothalamus releases a hormone known as the gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH. This hormone travels through a small vessel known as the hypophyseal portal system up to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is another small part in the brain. Now, it is this pituitary gland, the anterior pituitary gland, that actually produces 2 hormones. The first hormone is known as the follicle stimulating hormone, and then the next one is known as the luteinizing hormone, so FSH and LH. When these hormones have been produced, they travel in the bloodstream up to a woman's ovaries, and then these 2 hormones bring about changes in the ovaries. They cause the eggs to grow. Okay? If there's a dysfunction, if there's actually communication has been affected between the hypothalamus and then the pituitary gland and then the ovaries, if there's something affecting the signaling or the communication of those 3, then a woman could easily end up with what I've just talked about: loss of periods or no periods, lack of normal breast development, low sexual libido, and then also the skin becoming very thin. The bones could actually also be exposed to breakages. This particular lady could actually be exposed to having fractures all of a sudden. This is due to hormonal changes that are taking place. This is due to a dysfunction, lack of proper communication between the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the ovaries. Now, you might be asking yourself, but how can this be confirmed? Okay, Gerald is talking about all this. By the way, I'm called Gerald Massa, the fertility coach. I can answer your questions about fertility. I'm sorry I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning. If you have questions about fertility, please ask in the comments and I'll be able to reply. You could also send us an email on my email address, my official email address. It is askgeraldmassa@gmail.com. I think I believe it's just below this video here, just below here. You could take note of that email, because some of our friends could not be comfortable sharing their questions on WhatsApp and they want email. So it is askgeraldmassa@gmail.com. And if you are comfortable sending your questions on WhatsApp, then there's no problem. You can message me on my WhatsApp numbers. One of the numbers is up here and then the other one is down. Yes, so hypogonadism is a situation, or it's a condition when a woman's system is experiencing changes, and these changes can be evidenced or they can be seen in the external of a woman or in the external being of a woman. For example, no periods or amenorrhea, lack of breast development, and then of course reduced sexual libido. A woman easily gets fractures, or bones easily crack and they break, and then of course it could also be connected with other changes that could be happening, skin changes, like the skin being very thin. The next part of this video is that you could be asking yourself, how can a woman confirm that she could actually be having this condition I'm talking about? How can a woman confirm that she's having hypogonadism? How can she tell that yes, the lack of breast development is actually due to issues that are happening inside her system, due to hormonal changes? She actually needs to go to a hospital near her. My videos are for education purposes only. You need to go to a hospital near you. You'll talk to your doctor. Your doctor will actually do the basic fertility tests. These tests can easily establish, or they can easily confirm what could actually be causing all the symptoms, all the signs you are experiencing. For example, why are you not seeing your periods? The major tests that could easily be done by your doctor could include the hormonal tests. They could also include radiological tests, and then of course the other tests that can be actually done on you, they could actually stem from a proper assessment by your doctor. We call this a proper history taking. So the first part I'm going to talk about is the possible hormonal tests that could actually be requested by your doctor. Remember, my videos are for educational purposes only, but your doctor could decide to maybe request one of the tests I'm going to talk about, or they could opt for another test. The first hormonal test that can be done to confirm why you are not seeing your periods, why the breasts have failed to grow, we call this Turner syndrome, and then of course why you are experiencing very low libido as a woman. The first test is actually a test to look at the key hormones of fertility. The first hormone to be checked is known as the follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. Remember, I talked about FSH and I said that it's one of those hormones that comes from a woman's brain, a particular part known as the pituitary gland, specifically the anterior pituitary gland. So your doctor would be interested in confirming the levels of FSH in your body. Your doctor would also be interested in confirming the levels of luteinizing hormone, LH hormone, luteinizing hormone in your system. And then your doctor would also be interested in knowing the progesterone hormonal levels coupled with the estrogen hormonal levels, that is E2, and then plus the P4 hormonal levels. So in summary, the hormonal tests that could actually be done on you, though your doctor could add more tests, the first hormonal test is known as the follicle stimulating hormone. The next hormonal test is known as the luteinizing hormone, and then the other test is known as the estrogen, and lastly the progesterone hormonal test. You could be asking yourself, why is it that they are going to, your doctor is going to check for the levels of estrogen? You could be asking, why is it that the doctor is interested in knowing your progesterone hormonal levels? Why is it that your doctor wants to know the FSH plus LH hormonal levels? The answer is actually very, very simple. The first reason as to why your doctor would be interested in looking at your FSH levels is to really see, as the FSH and the LH hormones are pouring into your system, and then as they are reaching your ovaries, are your ovaries responding to the effects of FSH? Are your ovaries responding to the effects of FSH and LH? And then, of course, the other reason as to why your doctor would be interested in knowing your estrogen and the progesterone hormonal levels is to actually assess and see, are you producing enough estrogen? Are you producing enough progesterone hormonal levels? We shall repeat more about this in the next video. Remember to ask your questions in the comments below and I will be able to answer you. Gerald Massa, the fertility coach. Thanks a lot for watching today's video lesson. Bye-bye.